Nick, Justin Fields and the Chicago's Bear team has really done something special, and I think this is the year they're finally putting together all of the pieces to show people how truly talented this team and young quarterback can be. And one piece in particular, Nick, came out with us in an interview and talked about exactly why they decided to join this team, and I think it shows a lot about the Bears' future.
Yeah, Miles, I agree with you 100%. This is just more evidence about what the Bears are doing and how it will contribute to long-term success. But before we get into your story, Bears fans, got an interesting question for you guys to answer, as we always like to, in the comment section below. Look, there's a lot of new addition. There's a lot of young players, a lot of moving parts. We've seen it through the Bears now through mini camps and OTAs. But we're going to make you narrow it down to one guy, one potential breakout candidate for the Chicago Bears in 2023, and give us that guy in the comment section below. All right, Miles, I'll throw it back to you now. What's the latest out of Chicago?
Yeah, Nick, the Bears really hit this offseason and took a weakness and made it a major strength. I'm talking about one of the best in the NFL as far as strengths, and you're looking at the linebacker position. They didn't have much to talk about other than young linebacker Sanborn, who was very impressive last year, but adding two guys in Edwards and Edmonds, CJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, made this linebacking group a phenomenal thing to look at. This is a guy, these are guys that were added, and especially Edmonds is still very, very young, has a lot of career left. He's only 25 years old. I think that's going to be huge for Chicago Bears going forward, but these guys are all superstar level players in these additions, and specifically Edmonds came out and talked about why he decided to join the Chicago Bears. I'm going to get into that article right now, Nick. This is over from Bills Central, because Edmonds coming from the Bills, of course. But it says, sure, the departure from Buffalo of standout Pro Bowl linebacker Tremaine Edmonds was a bit expected considering the big payday he warranted, and other teams were willing to give him the money he earned after his fifth straight 100 tackle season. But though the 4-year, $72 million contract he signed with the Bears in March seems more than enough reason to begin a new journey with a team, he had other reasons as to why he came to the 13-3 Bears this season. Edmonds revealed during an appearance on NFL Total Access that it was about more than that. He said, I feel like individuals make the best moves when you're underestimated. And I wanted to go to a team where I could be part of a rebuild. He said, I can be a part of turning this thing around, man. He said, just being a part of that, being a big part of that defense and being a big part of that rebuild, it made me want to be a part of it for sure, he said. So, Nick, this just shows that all of the things the Bears are doing are impressing not only free agent talent, but very high-level free agent talent. And they want to come here and prove themselves because they believe in what is happening in Chicago. This is very evident in Edmonds' comments, talking about he believes in this rebuild. He wants to be a part of it, and he thinks he can help turn this team around, which on paper, Nick, he already has, because as we alluded to, this linebacking group looks absolutely phenomenal. But I think that this is a little bit more than meets the eye, Nick, because Edmond comes in and adds some incredible stats to this. Last year, Nick, in coverage, he was the #1 overall linebacker per PFA with a 90 coverage grade, which is absolutely ridiculous. Last year was also one of his highest graded seasons of his career with an 81.9 grade. This guy adds a lot of depth to this defense and can really provide some key versatility. I'm excited to see what you think about Edmonds, Nick, in the addition, just the overall of the Chicago Bears defense. But before we go there, I want everyone to remember to stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear a word from our partner, that is Neuro. They have a lot of great products to give you a quick and easy boost of energy. And Nick, we love to take their mints or gum right before the show to give you the high-level Bears content that you love. So stay tuned to the end of this video, hear more about Neuro, and to get your hands on our discount code. But Nick, let's get on into it. What do you think about everything Bears?
Yeah, so everything with Edmonds there and what he said there, there's a lot to unpack, and it's all great news for the Chicago Bears. I'm going to lead into the top line, and you brought up Justin Fields. That's what having a dynamic young player who shows all kinds of high-quality leadership and competitive traits can do. You get guys that come from the Buffalo Bills, like in Edmonds' case, a winning franchise, winning a lot of games, making deep playoff runs. more than happy to leave the Buffalo Bills and turn down other potential offers and go play with the Chicago Bears to be a part of what Justin Fields and the dynamic and the energy he brings to the fold. A lot of that goes to Justin Fields. We talk about it all the time when we on our college channel, focusing on, hey, listen, you bring in quality quarterback recruits, a lot of other positions like to come as well. You see that kind of effect in the NFL just as well. You have a quality quarterback, young dynamic guy, you get a lot of great free agents that want to join that guy. But when it comes to Edmonds, I just love the self-awareness of this guy, because we see a lot of guys, they seem to go to a team, a new team, free agent deal. They say, listen, I'm going to go there, and where this team is great right out of the get-go. We're going to win a Super Bowl. This is awesome. This is amazing. Everyone's perfect. Edmonds, he knows the Bears are better, but he says, I want to be somewhere where I'm part of a rebuild. And look, that's honest, because he's not running from it. And the Bears shouldn't run from the fact they were 9-25 over the last 2 seasons. That's not very good. They are in a rebuild. Their whole strategy was to rebuild and reload. That's exactly everything they did, essentially guaranteeing the way they rested their starters the final game of the regular season last year to get the number 1 overall pick, trade down to DJ Moore, spend all the money they have in free agency. They are in the middle of rebuild. And it's important to recognize that, because it's one of those things that becomes a real issue in cultures in the NFL and frankly in any line of business where you don't understand the reality of the situation you're in. There's a famous paradox called the Stockdale paradox. It was a POW thing, but one of the things he brought up when he was in POW camps, when he was leading guys, as he was an American Vietnam vet, he said there were 2 things you had to recognize. One, that your situation stinks right now. It's terrible. We don't know when we're going to leave, but one day it will work out and we will go home. And he says that mentality led to their success, their survival, and the ability to go home from those POW camps eventually, to a much lesser degree of severity, obviously, here in the NFL. But you have to understand the reality of the situation. The Bears aren't a rebuild. They're going to be a lot better this year. They may even be a playoff contender this year. But it doesn't mean there's going to be some bumps and bruises along the way. They've got a lot of new players. Justin Fields is still a young quarterback. The division looks pretty tough. Jordan Love looks pretty solid for the Packers. Lions are better. Vikings made the playoffs last year. NFC's got a lot of talented players, a lot of talented coaches, teams. Eagles were really good, of course. This is not going to be a smooth sailing transition from 3-14 last year to 14-3 or something like that this year. There's going to be some bumps in the road. And the fact that Edmonds has the maturity and wherewithal to come out and say that and recognize that, I think is going to be huge, because leadership like that from guys that have come from winning cultures, that will help steer the ship when the water gets rough. I love seeing a veteran, especially a new addition like that, having the right mentality, especially a young kid too. He's like 25, like you said. This will be awesome for the Chicago Bears.
All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner in today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro gum. Neuro gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.